Hey there lovely children, welcome to this session on floral morphology. We are meeting after a while, but I was connected to you all the while through PYQs, through a strategy session that some of you attended and some of you later asked for a recording. And of course my reply is always to never miss a session that you feel is important for you. Yeah, we spoke about the strategy for entire biology that could help you for NEET 2025. Now kids, I would be repeating such sessions, okay, and definitely you will see me live very soon. Yeah, in fact the session on floral morphology, definitely I mean the floral families, there are 7 families in your syllabus. That is quite a scary part of this chapter. Definitely I'll be taking it live. Okay, today I wanted to continue, since so many messages, ma'am, when will you continue the chapter. I wanted to continue with the very crucial part of this chapter. Luckily we have already completed floral morphology up until the non-accessory, the non-essential whorls. Yeah, so last class we did till estivation, which is for corolla and calyx, yani which is for sepal and petal. है ना? Now if examiner is thinking about framing questions from floral morphology, he definitely puts his hand and bets on the essential whorls or the reproductive whorls, because they are the major whorls of the flower. So we will start today, we will take down the notes together like we always do with stamen yaar. Okay? So we will start with that today. We will finish, we will close, and it will be done and dusted, the entire floral morphology. Next lecture, who knows, can be the live. Although while you're watching this lecture, I'm connected to you in the comment section. So let me know in the comments, how are you all, what is going on, how is your Josh, how is the energy. And of course you can message me personally on the Telegram group. I'm always available 24/7. So like I was saying, we would continue with fruit and seed, which is a very small tiny part of this chapter, in the upcoming lecture. Okay? So uska bhi schedule I will share with you. Now fruit and seed also find their continuity in sexual reproduction in flowering plants. That is a very heavy weighted chapter. Yeah, they both should be done together always. Makes more sense in our heads than breaking the sequence. So let's start with stamen yaar. Pens and papers should be very ready. So stamen it is. Now when I say the reproductive parts of the flower, hai na? When I say reproductive parts of the flower, I mean stamen and carpel, or in other words I mean if I talk about the whorls, I mean androecium and gynoecium. So like I said in the last class, if somebody says part of the flower, you say stamen. But since they're not present alone, we often use the term androecium. Okay? Androecium is when stamen are present in the whorl form. Makes sense to us? Andro is anyway the male part, androgen as in androgen. So now this stamen has 2 important parts, which is, you know, which are the, this is the connective tissue in between. Okay, I'm coloring it for the time being to tell you that the connective tissue is the sterile part of the stamen, hai na? And we have 2 lobes. It is a bilobed structure, and that is why it is so popular that angiosperms have bilobed stamens. This is lobe number 1 and lobe number 2. Now this part, the bilobed part, is the anther ear, hai na? And since these 2 lobes are responsible for producing the pollen grains, okay, pollen grains, we call the lobed, the anther part, as the fertile part. Question number 1, the fertile part of the entire stamen. Okay? So you are going to write it with me. It is the fertile part. Now people, pollen grains, just for clarity, pollen grain is not the gamete. although it is used freely, synonymously, but pollen grain is not male gamete. There's a whole saga of development of pollen grain to give you the male gamete. Then it is called as the male gametophyte. All of that we'll discuss in sexual reproduction in flowering plants together. Okay, but anywho, pollen grains are going to carry the future male gametes. So it makes them super important, and hence anther important. So this anther is connected through the stalk or the filament to the seat of the flower. Everybody in the comment section, what is the seat of the flower here? Without fail, you should know these terminologies which we have already cleared in the previous lecture. Hai na? So there is no excuse of I don't know. The seat of the flower is the thalamus, the swollen portion. Remember, the nodes and internodes of the stem condense together to produce the seat of the flower. So this is your thalamus. Now I also cleared the basics of life, that is proximal and distal, so that there is no confusion regarding what is proximal and what is distal. Here, this filament part now, this filament part is the proximal part. This is also a PYQ. Finds its place in both the chapters. So proximal part which is attached to the thalamus because it is towards the center of the organ, and distal part is the anther. So this is your distal part. This is your distal part. Okay, this is your distal part. Okay. Okay. Now, this stamen has a tendency to form connections. It says I want to stay connected with other floral parts. When a stamen forms connection with other stamens, then it is called as cohesion, because it is forming a connection or attachment with the similar organ. Hai na? That is absolutely basics. Chemistry maybe you study that. And when I form a connection with other floral parts, mane, what are the other floral parts? There is calyx, there is corolla, and there is gynoecium. These are the three floral parts. When it forms an association here, dissimilar whorls, I call it adhesion. Now that is where your questions are asked from, either from cohesion or adhesion. And if you understand this concept, then floral families are going to make sense. Otherwise, it's going to be a puzzle for you. That is where people fall short in not understanding this. So let's understand. We will take your cohesion on one side and adhesion on the other side. Easy means easy. You will write it very neatly. Okay? Now cohesion, the term for cohesion is adelphi. Simple. Let's keep it very simple. To go a notch further, adelphi means theoretically that filaments of the stamen, not the anthers. I want the anthers to be free. Okay, so you must have heard about, some of you must have heard about inserted stamens and exerted anthers or stamens. Exerted means outside the flower. It is exerted to release the pollen grains outside in the environment. They can be seen. If you are observing the flower from here, they can be seen. They are above the level. Only the anther part. Now that is a dispersal mechanism for the flower. So filaments are often fused together. We don't want anthers to be bound together. Although it does happen when anthers are also united together, and that family is very much in your syllabus. Now it is in your syllabus. So when filaments are fused together, boys and girls, it is called as adelphi. It's like how we make a bouquet of flowers. Yeah, the florist, you call them florists, they will bind the stalks of the flowers. What are the stalks of the flowers botanically called? Comment section please. Yeah, when you unite the pedicels together and you form a bouquet, the flower is left independent. The stalks are taped together, are bound together. Similarly, you are fusing the filaments together. Okay, now if I make one group, I am going to call it monodelphi. है ना? Easy. If I make two groups, I call it diadelphi. Two bundles rather of filaments. Okay, and if I make many bundles, I call it polydelphi. Easy means easy. Now where your strength comes into play is learning the examples. Okay, so we are going to do only NCRT examples. Monodelphi is your China rose. Easy. Which is your Malvaceae family. Yes ma'am, it's in the syllabus. Like I said, people who are joining the class now or watching it later, this lecture is about completion of, I want to put a full stop on floral morphology. Today we are discussing stamen and carpel categorically. We have already done our non-reproductive worlds in the last lecture. Kindly, sweetly, sincerely, faithfully watch that lecture on 1.5x if you are looking towards continuity of topics. Yeah, it's raining very nicely outside. Diadelphi is one of my favorites because it is a popular question, that is two bundles. So it is called as, it's a quite, since many years this question is asked. It is your Fabaceae family. If families don't make sense to you, I'm writing it Fabaceae, but you don't have to be scared. You can just write pea and beans as example, which belong to Fabaceae family. You know why I like it? Because it's a very peculiar 9+1 arrangement here. Yeah, so when the stamens decided to be in two groups, weirdly they made a decision to be 9 of them to be together and one was single. Polydelphi example is citrus, is simply citrus. ठीक है, अब आ जाते हैं. Now we will move on to the adhesion part sweetly. Adhesion is interesting. So here stamen said, well, you know what, instead of uniting with sepal, I would prefer to unite with petal. It could be a scheme, it could be, I am assuming. It said that, you know what, petal, you attract the pollinators, you attract the pollen grains, you attract the pollinators, yeah, I form the pollen grains. So it will be a teamwork. So stamen plus petal, when they unite together, it is called as, we'll go to the terms. Let me write stamen plus something called as tepal. Who knows what is tepal? This is also one of my favorite questions and definitely more included now since you have two monocot families in your syllabus. What are the two monocot families? The wise ones, please. Liliaceae was always there. Okay? Since many years, decades. Now you also have the Poaceae family, the grass family, both see tepals. I'll tell you what tepal is. And then there's a situation which is rather rare. That is when stamen unites with the other reproductive world, the female world. That is your pistil. Okay? So these three conditions we will write. Please change your pens if you're writing with ma'am. Stamen plus petal is called as epipetalous condition. Okay, it is called as epipetalous condition. Very clear. Epipetalous condition is clear to everybody. Then comes stamen plus tepal. Stamen plus tepal is a very in your syllabus condition. Like I said, stamen plus tepal will be called as epitepalous or epiphyllous condition. What is a tepal here? Tepal is a floral part which is formed by fusion of sepal plus petal. Mane, although sepal, the outermost part had to be an independent part, the leaf-like green part, and petal, the colorful, attractive part, had to be separate. But in some plants, that is your grasses or monocots, since they have a very minimalistic body structure, they decided to fuse together. Okay? Makes sense? And I called it tepal. Now you know that floral parts don't like to occur in a solitary manner. They like to be in groups, which we call as whorls. So whorl of tepal is called as perianth. Mind you, perianth is a characteristic feature of monocots. Most of the monocots, not all monocots, never do that in botany. Oh, everything is like this. No, we don't do that. Okay. So the two families that you are going to study, your Liliaceae and grasses, one of the largest families of monocots, you do get perianth. Okay. Now people, stamen plus pistil, we will use our common sense. We are so great with common sense. It is called as a gynandrous condition. If you were thinking epipistillous or epipistil, no. Life is interesting. So gynandrous condition, gynoecium plus androecium. Now I will tell you the examples. You don't have to be scared. That's why I keep examples for the end. Epipetalous condition. Yeah. Please go in the horizontal manner, writing the example in your notebook. Ma'am, red is not visible. I don't want such comments. I'm still trying with the colors. Yeah, things do get streamlined as we proceed. So this is a case of petunia. Petunia belongs to which family? Who is going to tell me? Come on. All the families are in your syllabus. Petunia is very much in your syllabus. The petunia flower. Solanaceae. Yeah. So Solanaceae family, one of the diagnostic features will be your ye wala, epipetalous condition. Everybody should write it in the comment section, epipetalous. Even if you're watching after a while, just write epipetalous. It will make me happy. Then comes epitepalous. I already told you, if these two families, if grasses have tepals, it becomes the example. And gynandrous condition, if you want to skip, it is okay. Nobody is going to ask you. This family is not in your syllabus also. But those of you who like the wholeness is Cucurbitaceae family. Okay? Ma'am, this color is not visible. Those messages are going to be there. So I'll change the color. Yeah? We will keep, no worries. Yeah? So Cucurbitaceae family. If you couldn't see, and that's why I'm spelling it like a stuck record, a CD. Cucurbitaceae, epitepalous is your grasses, asphodilus if you want to be specific, and epipetalous is petunia. यहाँ तक समझ में आ गया? Everything is done. ठीक है? Now a special point. Well, people, there's something called as synandrous condition. Synandrous condition. Why am I telling you this? Because suddenly composite family or sunflower family is in your syllabus. The wise ones would appreciate when I tell you that synandrous condition, although it is taught and written in textbooks, is synonymous to synanthrous condition. But I would like to throw some light on it for your good, that it's not the same. Synandrous condition is when anther is fused, anthers as well as filaments are fused. I don't care about the examples because it's not in your syllabus. But suddenly from last year, this is in your syllabus. This is your sunflower family. If you know ray florets and disc florets. If you don't know, throw it out of the window. We'll do floral families. Syn means together, as in synchronize. Okay? Anthrous means anthers are fused. Filaments are free. It's a rare condition. Okay? Now, I also want you to be aware of polyandrous condition. What is polyandrous condition? Well, poly means many. Androus is stamen. No confusion there. The stamens are free. The key word is free. Okay? Anther is not fused, filament is not fused, everybody is free. When this happens, we have seen in angiosperms that they are more often than not of equal length. But in polyandrous condition, the next thing is again in your syllabus, and that is if they are of unequal lengths, if they are of unequal lengths, then we have seen something called as tetradynamous condition. Who will tell me? Which family am I talking about? This family was always in syllabus. It's not a new addition. Tetradynamous condition simply means that two anthers are short. They are short and four are long. It is very well given in old NCRT, where four stamens are long and two are short. This is called as 2+4 condition, seen in Brassicaceae family. Yes, or you can write mustard as the example. Clear? Very important. If you want to do didynamous condition, not in your syllabus, but it's seen in Tulsi, Ocimum sativum. All I want to tell you is, your syllabus is like the tip of the iceberg. It is just to give you an idea of different conditions and varieties and the diversity that exists in anything for that matter, floral morphology or plant kingdom. But science is not that's it. There's never a full stop. It's a bottomless pit whenever you study any concept. So now we will move on to carpels. I hope this is clear to everybody. If there are doubts, I'll clear them. Okay. In fact, when we meet live, we will clear doubts in the beginning. So now carpels comes next in the sequence. Your carpels are the female reproductive parts, the innermost wall, that is your gynoecium. It's always the innermost. I also told you that gynoecium is always less in number. Carpels are always less in number. They don't follow the rule of isomery. Okay? And a gynoecium has three parts: the stigma, the style, and the ovary. Now, if anther was the fertile part, by the way, a sterile stamen. Can anybody tell me what is a sterile stamen called as? Sterile stamen is called as a staminodiar. This is highlighted in NCRT, so might as well write it in the notes. Ma'am, we want PDF, DDF, this note, that notes. I've always said this, that notes should always be handwritten. Okay, so best is that you scribble with the teacher in the class, whoever the teacher is, whatever the class is, whatever the subject is. Okay, so now on the same line, the fertile part of the carpel layer will be ovary. Mind you, ovary is given a lot of importance in floral morphology because everything is happening in the ovary. Think about it. It's like the womb, isn't it? Fertilization will happen here. Male gamete will reach the ovary. It will have to reach the ovary. Double fertilization will happen. Male and female gamete will come together. Syngamy will happen. Zygote will be formed in the ovary. Zygote will develop into the next generation. Hai na? So we know this song, oh ho ho, ovary has ovule within it. We'll talk about it. So ovule becomes the future seed. Sabko malum hai? Yes, ma'am. And ultimately, when seed is formed, when the future plant is ready, this ovary forms the fruit. Now, people who are watching me and have got nothing to do with botany or biology, you think mango is the fruit, apple is the fruit, and kiwi is fruit, but tomato is fruit. Haha, cucumber that you eat is fruit. According to our usage in the kitchen, utility in the kitchen, we have categorized them as vegetables and fruits. We often categorize the juicy, the sweet as fruits, and something which is not juicy, which has a sort of a dead taste, we call them as a, that's not the case. Okay, so although classification of fruits is not in your syllabus in this day and age, we used to have a 5-page classification of fruits. Okay, times were tough. So this is your stigma. You should know these basics. This is your style and this is your ovary. Okay? Stigma is the landing platform here. For whom? Who has to reach the female part? The pollen grain which is carrying the male gamete. Even if you don't know anything, this much we can figure out. Okay? So यहाँ पर pollen grain will land. It will form its mighty pollen tube. This style is the pathway for the pollen grain. Like when male gametes in human reproductive system are deposited through the vagina, yeah, they travel all the way, the entire journey of sperm happens. Millions of sperms are deposited, but only one reaches the egg. Yeah? So that entire pathway is sort of a mechanism that a female reproductive system follows. So here you can compare the pathway to this style, and it will reach here, which is your ovules are located here. Now ovules are not just located in a scattered manner. Okay, so what do we have in the ovary is our next topic of discussion. We'll take it up. We'll take it up. So if I look at the ovary Nayar, we always give importance to the ovary. You will see that as we go further in floral morphology, and even questions come from position of the ovary or placentation. Okay, so in the ovary I have a very cushiony parenchymatous tissue here. Okay, so this cushiony tissue is called as the placenta, and the ovules are hanging on the placenta like this. Now I am making multiple ovules like in a lemon. We said seed is ovule. Till fertilization has not happened, till sexual reproduction has not happened, this is called as ovule. You call ovule as seed after the act of fertilization. So the seeds of the lemon, when you squeeze out a lemon, a lot of seeds come out. Those are multiple ovules. But if you cut open a mango, there's one seed. So they can be one or many. This is the scheme. They are hanging on to the placenta. Okay? Now these ovules can be present freely like this, or what can be done in the design, God loves designs, so I can make multiple chambers for the ovules. Now if you cut open a lemon, you will see those chambers. Yeah, if you look at this view, you see a central axis and you see many chambers. Yeah, it's clearly visible in lemon, the most visible. And when you squeeze the lemon, the seeds are often coming out from here, close to the center. Okay? These chambers are called as the locules of ovary. So our ovary can decide, depending on its genetics, to be multilocular or monolocular. These are very, very basic terms. Monolocular. You don't have to do the examples. In the present time, there are no questions asked. Bilocular, or up to multilocular. Okay? So lemon's example that I gave you, lemon, that is if I cut it like this, is actually your multilocular. Okay? But if you open up a pea, a mutter in vernacular terms, yeah, a pea, this is one side of the pea. Okay? So ovules are arranged like this. You call them seeds because you are getting the fruit. But they were ovules. Ye dekho. So this, your pea, is monolocular. Oh, yes ma'am, that's entirely true. Okay? Now moving on to further. Oh, there it is. That's what I was about to say. So boys and girls, what we see is that a plant can have a single carpel because they tend to be less than other floral paths, or they can be multiple carpels or 2 or multiple. Anything more than 3, we go to multi condition. So this is your monocarpillary condition. Very easy. Monocarpillary, bicarpillary. Okay? No confusion. And this will be your multicarpillary condition. Why did I tell you all this? Nobody is going to ask you. Because then only you understand the concept of apo and syncarpy. Again, this is where your question lies. NCRT. We'll do NCRT reading also. Yes, ma'am, we love that. So, you will remember this one because it makes sense. It's easy to remember that syn means together. Syn means together. Carpy word will always be used in relation to female, not in relation to male in botany. Why do you think so? What do you think? What is the reason? Because I said that ovary is going to make fruit. Whenever the term fruit comes in life, it is carpy. Okay, we'll discuss about fruit separately. So now, if all the carpels are together, it is called as a syncarpous condition. Ma'am, why do we need to know that? I'll tell you why. Apo means the carpels are free. Because, my children, this impacts the kind of fruit that we get in future. If all the carpels are fused together, you get a different kind of a fruit. The wise ones, very wise ones would know that classification of fruit. That is very much in your syllabus. Okay, the most basic classification of fruit, which we'll do in the next lecture. That classification is based on the condition of the carpels. We'll hold it here. Right now what we need to do is we need to do the examples given in NCRT, because that is where our life is moving on. Questions? We are moving on towards NEET 2025 hopefully, and questions will be framed from examples very properly. So if I talk about apocarpus, your NCRT, there are many examples, but like I said, please don't do any examples outside NCRT. There can be 10 examples in textbooks and study materials, because there was a time when study materials were written, textbooks were written, that it was a norm to go outside NCRT. Now you don't need to. So please spend your valuable energy and time on things that would help you with NEET 2025 and your paper. Okay, so lotus and rose, both beautiful flowers, you will keep for apocarpus, and this is also repeated in class 12th theory of sexual reproduction. Syncarpus is your mustard, Brassicaceae family. If families don't make sense to you, you don't have to worry, they would very soon. But in order to master families, I can't say this enough, you have to be good with floral morphology. Suddenly, you cannot get floral morphology. It's not a separate topic. It's an amalgamation of knowledge of floral morphology. You will realize it. So, mustard and tomato, very important. Now, what do? Since we said, yeah, this is the NCRT snip that I have added. We will discuss this later, but right now in my head what holds a lot of importance is the position of the flower. Ovary is given such a central position. It has actually. Any botanist would describe the entire flower based on the position of ovary. Yes? So now there are 3 positions of the flower, the floral parts, just based on the position of ovary. On whom? On thalamus. how is she placed on thalamus or seat of the flower, and how are other floral parts arising with respect to ovary. Okay, yeah, we have the diagrams. Beautiful. So this particular concept has to be understood diagrammatically, and that is why you are here. Well, the first one is, I'm going to make it easy for you. Okay? The first one, ladies and gents, is hypogynous. We have certain that gyne is with female. Okay? So hypo means, I've always told you to remember in life that whenever the prefix hypo is used, it means base, the lowermost side. Okay? So now he will ask you, in hypogynous flower, what is the position of ovary? Or he will ask you, he has only 2 questions to ask, or what is the position of floral parts in such a flower? Let's write both the questions. Happy? We made it simple. We like to make it simple. In hypogynous ovary or perigynous ovary or epigynous ovary, you will not care about the position of ovary. What you're going to remember is that if hypo means base, it is because of the position of floral parts. I'm making it easy for you. So position of floral parts is inferior, which simply means that ovary is superior. One has to be superior. What does it mean, ma'am? We didn't get anything. Well, there you go. There you go. This is hypogynous condition. Chamka, hypogynous condition. I is on the diagram. This is your thalamus. Okay, ma'am. This is the ovary. The queen is placed on the throne. Yes. How do you see? This is your calyx. This is your corolla, the petal. This is your stamen. All are arising from the base of the ovary. What did I say? Position of the floral parts, inferior. Automatically, ovary becomes superior. Let's do epigynous, the other extreme. Hanji. So, the first one is position of ovary. Okay, we will continue in the same this thing. Yeah, position of ovary, you can write as, what will you write? The exact opposite. Epi means outermost. I always told you epi means outermost or the uppermost, depending on the organ or the structure. So position of ovary is superior. Okay, I'm so sorry. Position of ovary is inferior. And automatically position of floral parts becomes what? If he asks you, you learn one, that is your superior. So like I said, here the way to evade confusion, to prevent confusion and keep your head healthy, keep your brain healthy, is to remember that if the prefix is epi, I am talking about the position of floral parts. So epi is position of floral parts will be outermost or uppermost or superior. Now let's understand with the diagram. So this is your epigynous condition. This is the diagram snipped from NCRT. Epigynous condition, what is happening? I said position of floral parts is superior. Look at this. This is the ovary. Do you see this? This is your ovary. It is almost fused with the thalamus here. It is embedded deep inside the thalamus. Okay? And sepal, petal, stamen, all are above the level of the ovary. They are superior. So, your ovary becomes inferior. समझ में आया सबको? Everybody means everybody. Comment section. Yes, ma'am. We understood. Like never before. मज़ा आ गया. Position of ovary inferior. How I do it is I learn one. Peri means always and always. Peri, wherever the word comes, it means sides. Peripheral, periphery. Okay? So here both get a position because the floral parts are arising from the sides of the ovary. So we say half superior for floral parts, and for ovary we say half inferior. There's a funny thing in one of the, it's not really a part of the curriculum, but sort of an article, an author had published on botany. So authors, botanists don't like to consider ovary as inferior ever. That is how ovary is revered and given importance in floral morphology anyway. So if they ask you, it's half superior, half inferior. Let's look at the two scenarios. You see that floral organs, this is your carpel, this is your calyx, this is your petal, that is carpel, and this is your stamen. So they almost arise from, they look like half superior and she looks like half inferior. Similarly, it is clearer in this scenario. You see, this is the sepal, the green part, this is the petal, this is the stamen. So they look like half superior and she looks like half inferior. So let's get to the examples, everybody. We will do the examples, no problem. So the first one where we have hypogynous ovary, let's write the examples together. What is the example? You will write it in the diagram itself. Mustard, brinjal. So your Brassicaceae family, your Solanaceae family, and the China rose, the great China rose, Malvaceae family. For B and C, okay, actually these are two variants of perigynous condition, but we will not spill over too much. It is plum, peach and rose. All the beautiful beauty cream ingredients we include in, that's how they advertise it. The cream has plum and peach and rose and beauty and all of that. And for epigynous condition, we have, I think the favorite I have is sunflower. Sunflower is the only family, okay, in your syllabus where you have epigyny. Okay, I'll repeat this trick. So sunflower, cucumber and guava. These are three examples. Ma'am, how do we learn examples? By solving questions and repeating them in your head like it's your own name. The last topic we have is the placentation. Okay? Placentation also will try to make it very easy for you. What is placentation? Well, it is the arrangement. I told you that ovules are arranged along the placenta. So, arrangement of ovules along placenta. As simple as that. What do we do? Now, the kind of question that he'll ask is first kind of question, and the order, the trick is to read it in an order that it makes a sequence in a mind map in your head. Okay? So, the first one is marginal placentation. They will ask you question number 1 from the description of the placentation. Be with me in this. Second, he tends to ask the number of locules in the ovary. He tends to do that. Whether the ovary is unilocular, multilocular, bilocular, all of that. And the third one, he is concerned about the examples given in NCRT. Okay? So, you don't have to contact aliens on any planet to worry about the examples. They won't. So, marginal, like I told you, The ovules in a pea, people, will always arise on the margin. They never take the liberty to arise in the center or wherever, the edges. They don't do that. It is aligned, a very, very sophisticated arrangement of ovules. This is marginal placentation. I see a unilocular ovary. Already we spoke about this. Example is P. This is very easy. Uske baad, after marginal, I want you to go to parietal placentation. Very important here. Parietal means the ovules will arise on the sides of the ovary always. Okay? On the sides of the ovary, never in the center, but it is a unilocular ovary. Now, two examples, mustard and argemone. These are the two examples. Now, in mustard, there is a special case which he loves to ask. Somewhere during the development of the ovary, in a mustard especially, we see the development of a false septum. That's why the dotted line signifies the pseudoness. So, a pseudoseptum, septum mane division, nasal septum. So, pseudoseptum develops, which is a transient structure. Anything that is not permanent is pseudo. And it gives an impression of a bilocular ovary for some time. Listen to this carefully. It gives an impression. And this pseudoseptum is called as replum. It is called as replum. Okay? Which gives the impression. But originally it is a unilocular ovary. If he asks you what is the condition of ovary in mustard, okay, you will say bilocular. Yeah. What is the condition of ovary in argemone or in parietal placentation? It is unilocular. What is the name of the septum? It is replum. What is the term used for the pseudoseptum? Okay. Now we go on to, I want to take up axial placentation, one of my favorites. You know why? Because this is the only ovary, only placentation where you have a multilocular ovary. So, I already explained you the case of lemon. Yeah. So, you see these are several septa which are making, these are permanent septa, very definite septa, they are not pseudo, which are dividing that entire space I showed you in the ovary, in the swollen ovary, into many chambers, and hence multilocular, as easy as that. Now, why is it called axial? Because when they meet in the center, these septa meet in the center, na baba? The ovules are stuck to the center. They don't change their position. Okay, today I want to be at the margin, today I want to be somewhere else. No. Since they are present along the central axis, it is called axial placentation. Tomato, lemon, China rose. Very, very important. Expect this in NEET 2025. Placentation is one topic. I can't say this enough. Placentation is one topic. You want to open up the paper of AIPMT or any state PMT from 2000, 2005, 2010. Well, it's going to be scary because examples will be outside NCRT. If you want to open up yesterday's, I want to call it yesterday's paper, 2024 paper, questions are on placentation. Never ever, estivation and placentation are two topics that never missed. Now, keep axial in mind and come to free central. Same thing, they are arising in the center, but they are free. They are not bound by any axis because the ovary is unilocular. If there are no septa, there is no central axis, but it is a faint central axis. They have assumed, they're like, okay, we will be in the center of the room. Consider this space, this locule, as rooms for ovules, isn't it? Example is dianthus and primrose, very, very important as you solve MCQs, which we will together. And I keep posting questions in the TG group, you get better at them. Dianthus. Okay. Then the basal placentation, again my favorite. Why basal placentation is favorite? Because it is present in advanced families of angiosperms. The dicot family is sunflower and monocot family is grasses. So both the families you will see basal placentation. Well, it is a unilocular ovary first of all, and it's a non-fussy thing. The placenta is somewhere located in the base of the ovary here, and what is very interesting is a single ovule. It is a uniovuled ovary. Okay, single ovule arises in the base. I don't need many ovules, it's okay. I'm pretty sure about the fertilization and the dispersal mechanism, and the plant is pretty sure. So it is called as the uniovuled ovary. So people, these are the topics about the necessary words that I wanted to complete with you today. Please note down every word as you hear this lecture. Write it in the comment section if you want something to be explained again. Okay, and now we will continue with fruit and seed, which are very easy, especially the new syllabus, and then we'll go to the floral families. It was lovely meeting you guys here, and I will see you in the next lecture whenever I meet you, which I'm going to update very, very soon. Bye-bye.